Good morning, Thailand. This is Voice of the Nation. We run this live program every Monday, to Friday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Good morning,ค่ะ. I'm Ping Thipapa Sitripipat. And with me are my co-hosts, Kun Nina Nirasha and Kun Yod Witaya. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะคุณวิทยา
Oh, maybe microphone.
Okay.
That's why. So Voice of the Nation brings you update and what's happening in Thailand. I hope you enjoy our program.
And feedbacks and comments are welcomed. We love to hear from you, and also we would like to make our program to be your favorite program.
Watching Voice of the Nation previous episodes is easy. Please visit our YouTube channel at The Nation Thailand. On Facebook page, just search the words The Nation Thailand.
So please stay tuned with us. Today we have a special guest to help explain more in detail. Are we nearly to end of COVID-19 or is it another new beginning?
That's right, but first let's start our Thursday 27th January 2022 with the first news, the relationship that has been recently restored after the past 30 years between Thailand and Saudi Arabia. So Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has done what his predecessor did not make it during the past 30 years. The Prime Minister asked a high-level delegation of ministers and spokesperson on an official visit to Saudi Arabia from Tuesday to Wednesday in a bid to normalize ties between the two kingdoms. Prayut's move was the first time in 30 years that a Thai Prime Minister has visited the Gulf country. And according to the government spokesman, Thanakorn Wangbunkongchana, Thailand and Saudi Arabia agreed to take important steps to reinvigorate bilateral relations. The actions include the appointment of ambassadors to their respective capitals in the near future. As on Tuesday, the Prime Minister and his team arrived in Riyadh. Then he met the Crown Prince, Deputy Prime Minister, and Defense Minister Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud at Al Yamama Palace. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia received the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Thailand. They both held an official meeting during which they reaffirmed their mutual determinations to resolve all pending issues between Thailand and Saudi Arabia and normalize relations between the two kingdoms. The two sides also stressed the importance of strengthening the two kingdoms' bond of friendship and the opening of a new chapter in relations between Thailand and Saudi Arabia. The Thai Prime Minister stressed that Thailand places utmost importance on the bond of friendship with Saudi Arabia and expressed his sincere regrets for the tragic cases that took place in Thailand between 1989 and 1990. Prayut reaffirmed that Thailand had exerted utmost efforts to resolve the cases and that it stands ready to bring the cases to the consideration of competent Thai authorities if new well-founded evidence should emerge. And Prayut also reaffirms Thailand's commitment to providing appropriate security to members of the missions of the Royal Embassy of Saudi Arabia in Bangkok in accordance with the 1961 Vienna Conventions on Diplomatic Relations. Both sides reiterated their commitments to do their utmost to ensure the safety of each other's nationals in their respective countries. The two sides also exchanged views on various regional and international issues and discussed means and ways to strengthen their bilateral relations in all areas. They also agreed to increase interactions and coordination between their respective governments, agencies, as well as private sectors in order to elevate their bilateral ties to new heights for the mutual benefits of the two kingdoms. And according to the spokesman, he said that in the spirit of cooperation and shared determination to revive the friendship and cordial relations between the two kingdoms and their peoples, and guided by the bold leadership and visions of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Thailand agreed to fully normalize diplomatic relations. The historic breakthrough is a result of long-term efforts on many levels from both sides to restore mutual trust and friendly relations. The two sides agree on important steps to be taken to reinvigorate their bilateral relationships, including the setting up of consultative mechanism for consolidating their bilateral cooperations. The intensive coordination will commence in the coming months to discuss bilateral cooperation in key strategic areas. The two sides also discuss means and ways to strengthen and enhance economic and trade relations between the two kingdoms by exploring investment and other opportunities in the context of Saudi Vision's 2030 and Thailand's National Development Agenda, namely the Bio-Circular Green Economy Policy. They both also agreed to explore new areas of cooperation such as renewable energy, environment, digital transformation, and cybersecurity. And they further emphasized the importance of fostering people-to-people relations, which will be the cornerstone of the two kingdoms' growing relations, as well as the promotion of interfaith dialogue and multiculturalism. Prayut congratulates Saudi Arabia on its success in hosting and organizing the G20 summit, which has yielded positive outcomes in many areas, such as the economy, development, environment, health, energy, and so on. While His Royal Highness the Crown Prince of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia also expressed confidence that Thailand's hosting of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit and the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral, Technical and Economic Cooperation in 2022 will be successful. So that was a very good beginning as the story of the new chapter of the Thai-Saudi relationship was also on the front page of Saudi Gazette yesterday. And I think this will open up too many doors of opportunities for both Thailand and Saudi Arabia.
Yes, and according to Labor Minister Suchat Chomglin said, after bilateral discussions with Ahmad bin Sulaiman Al-Rashid, Saudi Minister of Human Resources, Thailand and Saudi Arabia will strengthen cooperation in labor, and Riyadh is seeking foreign support in tourism management. The minister said that this is an opportunity for Thai entrepreneurs as well as skilled and semi-skilled workers to participate. Saudi Arabia's Saudi Arabia Ministry of Human Resources is aiming to hire some 8 million good skilled workers from different countries. Thailand can participate in and would like labor cooperation to occur as soon as possible, especially for service sector workers in hotel, health, and the construction industry. As for equality of life and welfare of foreign workers in Saudi Arabia, there will be the e-contract program, which is an electronic contract that aims to protect workers' rights and reduce conflict between employees and employers. The Labor Mobility Initiative program will allow workers to move freely to increase flexibility, build efficient, and the ability to be active in the labor market. As of December 2021, there were 1,345 Thai workers working in Saudi Arabia. Most of Thai workers traveling to work and escorted by employers and have a re-entry work permit. Positions that Thai workers travel to work include technicians, mechanics, factory workers, mechanic operators, workers producing general products, assistant cooks, and housekeepers.
Wow, more doors to open, and Thai workers can get more jobs there. You can tell. Okay, Thailand is not only a land of smiles, but a land of herbs. And marijuana is helping us to go even more green. But
Mm.
marijuana must be discriminalized first. Okay, let's get the news together. Public Health Minister Antin Chan Virakul said recently that a meeting of the Office of the Narcotics Control Board approved a proposal to remove cannabis and hemp from the Category 5 narcotics list. The proposal was submitted by the Public Health Ministry's Controlled Drugs Committee to remove both plants from the list of illicit drugs. The move aims to promote the use of cannabis and hemp in medical, research, industrial, and food applications with the goal to make them new economic crops. However, this only applies to cannabis and hemp grown in the country and excludes cannabidiol extract with tetrahydrocannabinol of more than 0.2%. The plants that are still on the Category 5 narcotics list are opium, psilocybin, mushroom, and cannabis extract with more than 0.2% of tetrahydrocannabinol. The rules will be part of the marijuana and hemp bills, which Anutin pledged to propose in Parliament. The bills seek to greenlight the growing of cannabis at home after first notifying the local government. Anutin said the Phumjai Thai party hopes all MPs will vote for the bills, after which they will be announced in the Royal Gazette and become effective in the next 120 days. He urged the people who are interested in growing hemp and cannabis to wait until all the details of the two bills are finalized. He said, from now on, growing them will be much easier, but growers will still need to register with related authorities and follow the restrictions on growing volume and application. I'm not sure who's happy here, who are who are the persons who are very happy here. Kunina, you used to take this cannabis and hemp for like medical treatment. Kunina.
I've heard a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
around, like I've heard a lot of people using it for medication purposes, like someone with the diabetes or someone with high
Mm-hmm.
blood pressure. But the thing is, everyone warned that when you're using that, you have to be careful because it actually helps lower the blood pressure as well.
Oh,
And
right.
it also depends on the what shall I say, on the breed, on the breed of
Mm-hmm.
the herbs.
I see. I see.
Each breed has different effects, I think.
I got many friends. They are trying to build up this business with this the bills when they release.
Mhm.
So coming up next is about cryptocurrency, and Kunping has an update for you.
Yes, for people who live in Thailand, if you
Mhm.
are a cryptocurrency fan and plan to use it for paying your bills or for shopping, you will be dismayed because finance authorities in Thailand are planning to put a brake on it. So
Wow.
they will prohibit the use of digital assets to pay for goods and services by dropping six criteria to control the use of such assets and minimize the economic impact. In a joint statement issued on Tuesday, the Bank of Thailand, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and the Finance Ministry said they had jointly weighed the benefit and risks of digital assets and deemed it necessary to regulate their use as a means of payment for goods and services to avert potential impacts on financial stability and the economic system. The statement said digital assets business operators have expanded to cover services related to the use of digital assets as a means of payment for goods and services. Some have solicited business by offering to facilitate merchants and businesses in accepting digital assets, such as by setting up digital asset settlement system. This may result in wider adoption of digital assets as a means of payment, aside from its use as investment, which could potentially impact financial stability and the overall economic system. So, the use of digital assets in this manner could also pose further risks to consumers and businesses through price and cyber theft and personal data leaks and money laundering and many more. So the regulators have therefore dropped six criteria for operators for the digital asset business to prevent the use of such assets to pay for goods and services. Digital assets business operators must advertise and persuade shop owners that they can accept payment and with digital assets. Oh, so okay, so for the six criteria. So first of all, digital asset business operator must not advertise and persuade shop owners that they can accept payment with digital assets. And a second criteria is operators must not provide a system or tool that facilitate shop owners to accept payment with digital assets. And the third criteria is operators must not provide an electronic wallet service to shop owners. So the fourth one is selling of digital assets in bot must be directly transferred to operators' own account. And the fifth one is the transfer of digital assets or money from a seller account to another account for the purpose of goods and service payments is prohibited. And the last one is operators must not engage in any activity that promotes or support the use of digital assets for goods and service payments. So this is the six criteria. It seems like yeah, can change a lot of things a
Mhm.
lot because like the Securities and Exchange Commission Secretary General Rudy Suvarnmongkol said that after discussions with the Bank of Thailand and the Finance Ministry, the Commission is conducting a public hearing regarding the guidelines for using digital assets as a means of payment for goods and services to determine the appropriate frameworks in due course. So the public hearing is being held until February 8th. We will catch up with more
Mhm.
development of this issue for you. So what next คะคุณนีน่า Your microphone maybe
Oh, hello.
okay we can hear you now
Okay. So next is
so
something I
Mhm.
I was thought
really
you're going to add about you're not going to add
yes.
about digital asset right
Pardon?
it's okay I was thought you about to add or have any comment about digital asset
Digital asset. I am actually learning, and um, I am enrolling in two of them already. But I would not say anything about that until I explore more.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so me too, same here. But also, like, this is going to be a hot issue very soon if the government going to do this because it means that Bitcoin is nothing in Thailand. It cannot buy stuff like other country. So
Actually, we have the answer. The nations went on live on our metaverse yesterday about
mm-hmm,
this.
mm-hmm.
Um, and we have our guest speakers coming. So if you would like to, you can have a look at the metaverse live from the nation yesterday. And I'm going back to listen to this again because I think it's
Mhm.
quite interesting.
Yeah, that would be great. So what next,คะคุณนีน่า I have heard that you have some development about Rayong, Mattaput,
Yes.
right?
Yes, it's something very heart touching because, well, the Rayong is now in a worried state for many people, as you may know already, that a massive oil spill of 400,000 liters happened off the Mataput industrial estate in Rayong on Tuesday night, and that led to concern over its marine environmental impact, with some fearing it could be much worse than the spill in 2013. So it started off a Star Petroleum Refining PLC said in a statement that the oil leakage occurred at around in the morning. No, at around at nighttime, 9 p.m. at its single point mooring, which is a floating jetty offshore to allow petroleum tankers to transfer crude oil for its refinery in the industrial estate. So, First Marine and Coastal Resources Office Director Pushong Sarit D. Chaikun said there was a small leak in the underwater pipe and the 0.9 centimeter hole was caused by biological degradation, mainly caused by the barnacles. The company has dispatched emergency teams to apply all necessary emergency measures for dealing with an oil spill and also alert all government agencies concerned as well as adjacent communities. The agencies include the Environmental Monitoring and Control Center of Eastern Seaboard Industrial Estate and the Emergency Incident Command Center, and other companies in the area were also alerted to the oil spill. Star Petroleum Refining apologized for the accident and pledged to investigate. The company announced that it had managed to stop the leakage from its undersea pipe around noon as of yesterday, and it had brought the situation under control. It had deployed boats to spray chemicals to get rid of the spill oil, and the company would survey the area in the morning to assess the situation. But the pollution control department said that its oil map simulation predicted the spilled crude oil could reach the Marampung Beach and Khao Lam Ya or Mu Got Samet or the Samet Island National Park in Rayong at 5 p.m. on Friday. And the department said that the areas could be hit with 180,000 liters of the spilled crude oil. The spill prompted marine life expert Thorn Thamrong Navasawat to warn that the situation could be worse that for Rayong for even worse than the incident in 2013. And he posted that the spill was more massive than in 2013 and the northward wind could cause some of the oil to reach the Rayong coastal line. And the north wind might help Got Samet escape disaster, but residents of the tourist destination island should be on alert because the island is not far from the shore. And as of I mentioned in the news, this is not the first time of the leakage. In
Right.
July 2013, the oil pipe of PTT Global Chemical leak while it was receiving crude oil from a Greek oil tanker, causing a spill of 50,000 liters of crude oil. The accident, which happened some of around 20 kilometers southeast of Mataput, damaged tourism on Got Samet and caused marine environmental impact for a few years. Mhm. Well, apart from pollution in the sea, we also we are fighting with the virus, right? Kunping.
Yeah. Yes, the variant. Yes, the variant BA2 has been found in Thai people already. So this is quite a very like worry, something that Thai people worry right now. So 14 patients in Thailand have been infected with COVID-19 Omicron subvariant BA2, and one of them died. The Department of Medical Science Director General Dr. Supakit Sirilak confirmed the existence of this subvariant on Wednesday. Omicron BA2 has been nicknamed the stealth variant due to difficulties in comparison between this particular variant and Delta using the RT-PCR method. BA2 is spreading rapidly in around 40 countries right now, including Singapore, India, Denmark, Sweden, and the UK. The Omicron variant has been found in Thailand since December 6 last year. Is the BA1 variant that has mutations from the original COVID-19 virus. So about 3 weeks after it was first discovered among foreign travelers, the BA1 variant has spread quickly throughout a number of countries, and with several clusters reported in populated and tourism areas. The Omicron BA2 subvariant was first found in Thailand on January 2nd. Since then, 14 patients have been reported to have contracted Omicron BA3. Since the January 2nd, so 14 patients have been reported to have contracted already. But for Omicron BA3 has yet to be discovered in Thailand. So far, there was no evidence that BA2 was different from BA1 in terms of transmissibility. The potential for patients to develop severe symptoms or the ability to avert immunity created after recovering from COVID-19 or by receiving a vaccine. So a part of being hard to differentiate it from Delta variants with RT-PCR testing, the BA2 subvariant is different from BA1 and BA3, meaning that it does not show any mutation in the position 69 to 70 of spike protein. So far, 7 patients in Thailand infected with the Omicron variant have died, bringing the fatality rate of the Omicron in the country to 0.1%. Omicron is now the dominant variant in Thailand, accounting for 94.6% of patients. For Delta, it is 5.4%. Currently, 92.3% of domestic cases are Omicron, and 7.7% is Delta.
Right. On the other side, the government has extended the state of emergency until March 31st. The 16th extension of the emergency declaration following the COVID-19 outbreak was published in the Royal Gazette on Tuesday. The emergency will be effective from February 1st to March 31st. The government has declared the health emergency situation, invoking the emergency decree on public administration in emergency situations 2005 for the first time on March 26, 2010, and has extended it 15 times until January 31st. The announcement stated that the SARS-CoV-2 virus has mutated into the Omicron variant, which is highly transmissible, spreading another wave of infections in the country. Although most Thais have been vaccinated against the virus, the number of people who have received a booster dose is still low, and thus the situation can pose risk to the public health system and the health and life of Thai people in the pandemic worsens in the country. Moreover, it has been found that more and more people from neighboring countries were trying to flee violence and economic hardship in their countries to Thailand, which could worsen the pandemic situation in Thailand. As a result, the government said it needs to continue emergency measures for controlling and preventing the pandemic. So it had invoked the Section 5 of the Emergency Decree on Public Administration in Emergency Situations, BE 2548, to extend the declaration of the health emergency situation. Well, coming up next, we will meet a doctor from Harvard
Mhm.
Medical School to look into the details of so-called long COVID.
Welcome back to interview section. So today with us is Dr. Thaniyawan, MD, and he is an instructor. Sorry, is an instructor in medicine, Brigham and Women Hospital, Harvard Medical School. Am I right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Thank you
Welcome
so
ครับ
much.
สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดี
So
ค่ะ
today we have the number of infection people is 8,000 for the new cases. And yesterday, few days earlier, some people is have an argument on social media. So CEO of Pfizer said like the end game of COVID-19 will happen very soon. But WHO director not agree about that. So let's talk about the situation first. As you're seeing right now, do you think like how possible the scenario are likely to occur?
Well, I think it's not why is it possible, or even if it is possible, we should be thinking of this as you have to be cautious about it. You can be optimistic about it, but you also have to be cautious because all these COVID, have surprised us so many times in the past, ranging from Wuhan variant, and then a couple of months later, then the Alpha, and then Delta, and then most recently Omicron, right? So these are pretty new things to us. So if you're thinking about Omicron variant being the end game of everything, it could be true because it's very highly transmissible, but then it has very low symptoms rate. When that happens, it could potentially be causing more of the endemic COVID. What that means is it doesn't mean it's not dangerous. It means that it is more predictable to us that how we're going to deal with these things. Now, there's no way to guarantee that in the next couple of months there will be no variants again. So that's very, very important because no one can guarantee. And we already know that the more the virus spread, the more it becomes more transmissible, and the more it makes a copy of its own self, the likelihood of mutation of the new variants to pop up increases, right? And it's true that Omicron variant right now is very, very highly infectious. And once it does that, then there's a lot of chance that this could cause another variant in the future. And we don't even know how the new variant is going to behave. So we have to be cautiously optimistic about all this.
What about the factor that people already have vaccinated already?
Well,
Does
it
it
depends
help?
on it. I think it does help because we have a lot of proof. Initially, all the vaccine has been manufactured based on the Wuhan variant. And then there's Alpha, Mu, Beta, Gamma, Delta, and so on. And we have several proof that these vaccines are quite effective against the new variant as well. So when that happens in the future, I think it's also going to be very helpful. But the question is how helpful it will be, because we know that against Wuhan variant, most of the vaccine doesn't have any problems. right? But then with the beta variants, which is known to be evading immune system that is built by all this vaccination, well, that's created a couple of questions to us. But we already know that it also been very helpful in reducing all these severe symptoms, including other symptoms such as long COVID or multiple system inflammatory syndrome, which we have seen, and that's far more dangerous than the COVID, and that's also preventable by vaccination.
Right. So let's talk about the topic long COVID. This is a topic that people are concerned right now, and some people say that it will affect people life for very long time, but another people believe that it's not that scary. So the question is what the truth is.
Well, first of all, if anyone who have experienced long COVID, they're likely going to tell you that that's no joke. That's pretty serious. The symptoms range from having bad memories, right? Your functionality might not be as good as you were before the COVID hits you. You may have insomnia, you may have anxiety, depression. These are just merely a simple symptom that just happen in these people, and they can be very devastating for their life. They might not be able to perform their work, and that's part of it. It also affects other systems, such as the lungs. You might have short of breath that lingers for a month and doesn't go away. You may have scars in your lungs. You may also have fatigue. Your sense of smell or taste may be altered, or it's never be the same again. So you can just imagine if there's a gas leak and you cannot smell it. That could be very dangerous to you, right? And nobody can tell you when all these symptoms going to go away. I have some patients who still complain of these symptoms for 8 or 9 months. And that's no joke, because nobody knows. These are very, very new. And each of the previous variant that we have seen, like Alpha, Delta, Mu, Gamma, or everything, all of these variants can actually cause long COVID. And Omicron is hard to say whether this is going to cause long COVID or not, because it just appeared back in November last year. And by definition, we say that you have long COVID when it is at least 3 months from the initial symptoms that you developed. So it's barely touched 3-month mark after November. So it has yet to be seen.
I just read the comment earlier that people said, like, when the media or doctor keep talking about long COVID, it's made people more worried and made people more panic. I saw you had a lot of content on the social media already that you're talking about long COVID. As a doctor, what do you think about that?
Well, the thing is, it's preventable. So we have proved that at least if you get the vaccine, you could reduce the rate of this long COVID by at least 50%. And long COVID, by the way, is quite common. It depends on which study you're looking from and which criteria they used in the past. It ranged from like 10% to 50%. So, 50% is one out of 2 patients will have long COVID, especially if your symptoms are quite severe. Let's say if you end up in the ICU having requirement for ventilators, breathing machine, or other invasive monitoring and other stuff, you have a high chance of developing long COVID. But it doesn't mean that if you have mild symptoms, you will not have long COVID. That's the thing. You might just be in the hospital, right? You might just be outside, or you do a home quarantine, but you can still have long COVID. We have seen those. And we have a lot of experience in this, like people who have disturbance in their sleep. They could not sleep. They have persistent insomnia. If that's the case, that could very well be something bad. People may regard as insomnia as something that's common and is not harmful, but it's not actually true. Imagine if you cannot sleep for a month. What happens, right? You cannot function. You might not be able to function well. Your memories might be messed up. If you're a driver, you might go into a car crash, right? So that's pretty dangerous to me. But the bottom line is preventable. That's the thing.
Good, Anna, do you have questions?
Well, I personally have friends who have the effect of long COVID, basically. Um, and the person has really like a hard time to do his lifestyle, basically. I would like to ask, what would be your recommendations for someone who have long COVID? Because, of course, as you say, it's affect how they work, it affects how they think, even the lifestyles also change as well, and it becomes like we don't know how long this gonna last. I mean, the long COVID, we don't know, but we would like to know, like, how are we going to live with it?
With the long COVID, there's two things that we have to act on. Number one is the person who have long COVID. There's no proven way of treating all these things, but the thing that you can actually do at hand is to do an exercise. So if you exercise regularly, that also, we know that exercise is good for your health. It boosts up your immune system. It also helps with your cardiovascular, which is your heart, your lungs, and your muscle and everything. And that improves everything that you're experiencing. And also, the thing that you used to teach your kids, right? Go to bed at the same time, go to bed early, wake up at the same time, or eat healthy, exercise. All those things that you teach your kids, they're good for you as well. So many of the adults, patients who have experienced all this long COVID, they forget about this, right? They think, well, I'm gonna sleep. I'm gonna go to bed at maybe midnight and wake up sometime in 6 o'clock and start working. Well, it doesn't work that way. You actually need like 7 hours of sleep, or something like that. And you also need an exercise, right? If you don't exercise, well, a bunch of things gonna happen to you. Like if you get older, your body gets weaker, and if you have never exercised before, well, a lot of illnesses gonna catch up on you.
But is there any specific exercise for these people who suffer from long COVID?
Well, typically it depends. We always recommend aerobic exercise, at least 30 minutes a day, because that boosts up your immune system and cardiovascular system as well. However, there's some patients who are so short of breath they cannot even do any of these things, but they have to try. If they never tried before, they will never get better. So that's the bottom line that they have to do. And moreover, we have some research that if you get long COVID and you've never been vaccinated before, if you get vaccinated after that, the long COVID symptoms may go away within a month. So that's very promising. But that research is based on the mRNA vaccine, which we have only 2 of them in Thailand, which is Pfizer's Moderna. But for the other vaccines, we're not quite sure. Actually, I take my words back. So for AstraZeneca, it's also happened in this situation as well. It's also helped with the long COVID symptoms. But this is for those who will live with long COVID, and also their peers, their family has to understand as well, because all these psychological systems are impacted, and they might be losing their memory. So all the other people around them have to help them. They have to understand. Now this is, I would call this tier 1. And tier 2 is about the policy, the hospital that discharge this patient. They have to risk stratify, because some patients are at risk for having long COVID, such as those who end up in the ICU. When they discharge this patient home, they have to set up some kind of follow-up with them to make sure they don't run into problems, or if they have certain problems that can be corrected earlier, they might prevent long-term effect of this long COVID. Now, I think this is also very important for the hospital administrator to do all these things and promote health and follow up on the symptoms.
Right. Is it possible that the vaccine, including booster jabs that we have so many now, some of my friends got 4, can prevent some symptoms of the long COVID?
If you get it before you catch COVID, yes, it reduces all these long COVID symptoms by 50%.
I see. Right. And the last question, Kun Ping? The next question.
Another question is like, is it possible that people have a long COVID that we don't have a good medicine one. Right now, seems like we have only option favipiravir, and people have a lot of side effects for that. Do you think this is relating?
You mean the medicine causing all these long COVID symptoms?
Yeah, if we have, yeah, what do you think?
Well, I don't
Because
think the
can I ask you for the knowledge? Favipiravir is not kind like a exactly medicine for COVID-19 treatment, right?
that
As
is
I
correct.
understand. Yeah. So do you think is it because of about that?
Well, I don't think is causing the long COVID symptoms. It may have side effect, but usually side effects are short-lived. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of experience about favipiravir because we don't use this in the United States. However, based on some of the research, we know that it might not be that useful. However, if you start that early on, it might have some effect on the COVID. All of these medicine we use for COVID treatment are necessary because they're sick people, right? So we need to help them. They all have side effect. Everything in the world have side effect. They have good and bad things, right? But if it's necessary, we have to use it. But I do not think it has anything as a long-term side effect.
Right.
Right. It seems that you are now having a lot of followers, FC fan, Dr. Thani ครับ คุณขวัญจิต คุณมนทาทิพย์ and คุณ Chida said, Dr. Thani FC here.
Thank you very much.
Okay ครับ คุณ Pink, you have any last question หรือคุณนีน่า
Karina, do
Well,
you have any question?
I would like to ask, apart from favipiravir that you say that you don't use that much, what are the alternative medicines or treatment that you use?
Well, in terms of treatment, early on, there's a lot of viral replications in patient's body. So the treatment in this phase is to reduce the amount of virus as soon as possible. And then the second phase is caused by your body making a lot of inflammations. And the treatment for that is to tame down the inflammation so that the patient will not have organ damage. So we are talking about reducing the viral replications. How to do that? Initially in America, I use remdesivir, which I think in Thailand they do have that, but it's injectable medicine. It's not like a pill or something that you can take at home. So that's a difference between remdesivir and favipiravir. We also have other two medicine that we use called Paxlovid and Molnupiravir. Those are also can be taken as a pill, and that's given early after you have symptoms in those who are at risk for having severe COVID. So these are medicine that we use mainly to reduce viral replications. They have side effect as well. We also have something that you might have heard before. It's called a monoclonal antibody or cocktail, something like that. In Thailand, I think we do have a lot of antibodies in the United States, but in Thailand there's RegenCov, which is produced by the company called Regeneron. That's also a thing. But we know that this does not work against Omicron anymore. We currently use something else called sotrovimab, which I don't think we have that in Thailand yet. So
would there be any medications that some people dream of, like just sniff to it and it would cure everything?
I don't think we're that far yet. We do not have anything that we can sniff or inject one time and then the COVID's gone. It's not like that. It's more complicated than that.
Okay.
Now, one thing I would like to add is,
Sure.
apart from long COVID, which affects multiple systems in your body, you might have like every system you can think of, such as you might have upset stomach, you might have diarrhea, you might have persistent muscle pain, and so on. But also there are a subset of patients, like 10 to 20% after they're discharged from the hospital, that requires rehospitalization within the first 1 or 2 months. And these people, I'm not sure if you're aware of it or not, because some of the patient who end up in the ICU, they got better, they went home, they come back in a week having a blood clot somewhere in their system, and they pass away from that. Some even come back with infection in their bloodstream called sepsis, and they pass away from that as well, even though they got better from COVID already. The doctor said, oh, your lungs are fine right now. You don't have any more infection in your lungs. Everything looks good. Your blood test looks good. You can go home today. and then in a week they come back sicker. So I do not think COVID is a joke. And we do have in the United States, and actually in the ICU, in some hospital, Omicron variant can actually cause people to suffer a big deal. They die from it. We have seen people who have died from it.
Even
So,
if they're vaccinated?
well, it depends. If they're vaccinated, the chance of dying is very, very low. Well, now there are those people who are not responding to vaccines, such as those who receive immune suppression medication for treating their disease, such as if you have SLE or you have rheumatoid, you are a recipient of organ transplant, which you have to take the immune suppression lifelong. Well, it's called immune suppression for a reason. It suppresses your immunity. So when it suppresses your immunity, you give vaccine, you won't respond. If you don't respond, well, how can you fight off the COVID when you actually get it? So
Right.
this is a thing that, well, if your body cannot respond to the vaccine, we have other means, but it's not 100% protective. So all we have to make sure that the public knows is to vaccinate other people around them so that the other people will not get sick. And when they don't get sick, they have a lower chance of transmitting the virus. When they have a lower chance of transmitting the virus, we can actually save these people, right? It's not treating your own self, you're treating the entire country and treating people around you as well. So this is a responsibility for everyone.
I would like to ask one more question. How many boosters do we need actually?
Well, I think right now it's pretty hectic, right? Because there are a lot of vaccine platform in Thailand, and we know by now that the best vaccine is mRNA vaccine. The Pfizer's Moderna, as of now, we have a lot of data. We have more data than any other vaccine. That is very good. But Thailand did not have the mRNA vaccine for people
Before.
initially. They have other kind of vaccine before. So that's the reason why we have a lot of booster jab here and there, so that we can catch up with the data that is most effective in the mRNA vaccine that you have to get. Now, moving forward into the future, I think that the COVID may become endemic, and that you can predict when it's going to happen and when you're going to get booster. I think it may be you need only one booster a year. You do not need like every 3-4 months, something like that. But right now we are just learning about it, and they're just flooding of information about all this vaccine. And don't forget, the COVID vaccine that we're using right now stems from the Wuhan variant. That's not outdated, right? But
That's
it's
not
still protective.
for Omicron.
It's like an
That's
old
right.
version, right? We need to
It's an old
update like
version, but it's still,
computer.
yeah. So we need more of the advanced version of that.
Right. Yeah. Too bad that we have a very limited time. Dr. Tani, maybe like we would like invite you to be our speakers again. But today, really, thank you for today. Thank you for being here with us.
My
สวัสดี
pleasure.
ค่ะ
Thank you.
ขอบคุณมากครับ
สวัสดี
ขอบ
ค่ะ
คุณมากครับสวัสดีครับ Well, welcome back. If your children go to a primary school in Guangxi, in China, they may bring home a live car as a reward for a good exam score. Do you believe
Oh,
that?
really?
So I got a story for you here. A primary school in southern China has raised eyebrows online by giving an unconventional reward to its best performing student. Look at that. That's real one.
I was thought they're gonna put in the bags with the water, so they give it like this.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're gonna survive, but it's a live carb. Photo and videos have circulated online, and in the news showing pupils from Jiangshuan Primary School in Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region cheerfully holding up the fish and award certificates. These stir discussions about rural school innovative practices to motivate students from impoverished families. So they bring home like this.
The
Jiangchuan
cook.
No, I'm not sure.
Really
The
sure
car,
of the cook.
right? Jiangchuan Primary School said it was the sixth consecutive semester that the students were motivated by live carp, a symbol of good fortune. The principal said the carp symbolized wealth and courage. He said the carp were meant to encourage students and their financially constrained families. This semester, some 420 pupils received live carp as a reward for outstanding academic performance in their recently concluded final exam on Friday. Each fish weighed about 1 kilogram. The school used to issue notebooks and pencils as
Oh.
awards. But the parents were very impressed with that. This time, students can bring back the live carp so their whole families can have a feast and share their joy. All students at the school live in the Nansan community sorry, our students at the school live in the Nansan's community, where all residents had been relocated from poor and remote areas of the county. Thanks, Asian News
Mm.
Network, for this news from China. I wonder in your old days, like you are school and your kid, you are little boy, little girl, what the rewards you get from doing something good for like academic performance or you are behaving like good student. What did you get, Kun Ping, when you are a little? When you were a
Sticker,
little,
like a
Mhm.
star.
A
The
star,
star.
a
Yeah.
sticker, and
Yeah.
you put in
And
a book.
we have to collect it. So it's like if
Oh,
you collect for 100 stars, you will
uh-huh.
get like a notebook, like
A
the
notebook,
notebook, not
right?
laptop notebook. But if you get like 200 stars,
Hmm.
you will get the color for painting.
All the colors, like color pencil, color
Yeah, color
control, right?
pencil.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that
Hmm.
is it. So we have to do things good every single day for the stars.
Okay, how about you, Kunina? What did you get?
Well, for me, like when I was living in Belgium, and like Belgium is a country for chocolate,
Hmm.
right? So the teacher would come in the classroom and say, "Okay, who can give the right answer? I have full box of chocolate." So everyone would be like, "Me, me, me."
I see. I
I
see.
was
That's
among
good,
them.
and that's good encouragement. I when I was very little,
Mhm.
my uncle said that you have to learn English now. So he will give me like 1 baht. If I finish writing
Mm.
down Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and
Mhm.
we get what 1 more baht if I can write down January, February in a book for him, and he will see I have to write this every day. He'll get
Mm.
1 baht.
Can I borrow
One
your
baht
uncle?
before, without the inflation, what can you buy
Oh, a lot of things. Small toys and also other like candies. Huge bag, a huge bag
for
of
1 baht?
candies. Right
What
for
about a
1 baht.
bowl of noodles? Is it still 1 baht back at that
I
time?
think that time is 3 baht or something. 3 or 5 baht.
Three
Five,
baht.
7 baht. Right. Look like
We
very
can
old
guess
days.
your age now.
Okay. So Kun Pink Cup. Thank you.
Yeah, I wonder, can I borrow your uncle ของคุณวิทยา Maybe he add more like 100
He add
baht for
more.
today. Mhm.
Right.
So, and that's a wraps up our Voice of the Nation morning news update for today. I hope you enjoy our program. I really do.
And stay tuned with us with the latest news and information from Thailand's premier English language news source, connecting Thailand to the world from Monday to Friday, 8 to 9 a.m.
Okay. Live streaming to our website, nationthailand.com, Facebook, and other social media platforms. Don't forget to click like and share. I'm วิทยาแสงอรุณครับ
I'm Nina Nirasha Malisak.
Pink Pitapha Siri Prihat. So, see you tomorrow. Have a great day.